vibrators, I can come out with something logical sometimes.
Even when Trish and I were corresponding, and I think when I was looking on her website as well, you know, and I see this on the websites of a lot of friends, my metaphysical friends that I have. You know, the veil is much thinner now than it has been in many, many years, and so many people are experiencing an awakening, so to speak, or a change in consciousness, or we'd like to say a shift in consciousness is happening. And, you know, that's happening with a lot of different people. And do you think that more people are experiencing interdimensional communication or ghost communication or supernatural experience than ever before? I mean, what do you think, Trish? I think so.
I think they definitely are as well, because I think it's all a part of the awakening process. I think, you know, even for myself on a personal level, I mean, I always tended to believe in the paranormal, and I had a few experiences when I was younger, but not a lot. But then 10 years ago, when I went through that profound awakening, it just seemed like it opened up the can of worms and everything was happening, and that really threw me into an accelerated, you know, path of awakening really fast. And it seems like, you know, people having these experiences really tends to awaken people pretty abruptly or pretty quickly. So I think it definitely is happening more and more now.
Yeah. I think so.
I agree.
Well, I know that in one of your other books, you were talking a lot about fifth dimension consciousness. Do you want to briefly explain? I know we only have a few minutes, but do you want to briefly explain to our listeners what fifth dimension consciousness is and why that's important?
Sure. You know, we here, humans on the Earth, you know, we're on the third dimension Earth in what we call third dimension consciousness. And, you know, there's a lot of beauty here in this world, but there's also, as we all know, a lot of struggles and negativity. I mean, with the war and the crime and everything else. Well, that's, you know, pretty much third dimension consciousness, you know, Earth, humans, you know, struggling. And the fifth dimension consciousness is when we transcend all of that third dimension negativity. It's kind of living, you know, almost I want to say in a utopian kind of state of being, because, you know, it seems like all the negativity is automatically filtered out. You just feel at peace and feel good inside. And the idea is that humanity is to, you know, evolve their consciousness to a point that goes beyond and transcends the negativity that most of the Earth is currently living in, and we transcend to a higher level of consciousness above the negativity, and so that we all, you know, are at a fifth dimensional level of consciousness. And the fifth level, you know, dimension of consciousness would include, you know, no longer, you know, trying to conquer one another, you know, the violence, no more violence, you know, collaboration instead of competing, and, you know, being more grateful and thankful, and, you know, all of, you know, the positive things in life. And so it's important because, you know, we're here on the Earth, you know, it's a school. If we think about it, we learn so much when we're here. And so we're here for our soul growth, to evolve our consciousness. And so it's important, you know, as humans and as individuals, for us to try to evolve as much as we possibly can and learn as much as we possibly can, so that we can transcend that negativity of, you know, the third dimension Earth. So I think that's why it's important.
Excellent. So, your second book, we might as well discuss that again briefly. That's about, as we discussed earlier, a little bit about past lives and so forth and so on. What was that one called again?
It was meditation.
Yeah.
Meditations for past lives, starseed, soulmates, and beyond.
Excellent. And when did you start writing that one?
And that one, I have to think back in time here. I published it. I'm trying to remember. I published it back. It was in 2013. So I believe I started writing it in 2012.
Yeah. And that took well, obviously about a year to finish and complete and so forth and so on. Now, did you send out like a mass email to try to get people to contact you to get some kind of test subjects or whatever the case is to base your research on?
That particular book, yeah, that's a good question. That particular book, I did a lot of reading into a lot of case studies, and then I've done past life regressions on other people myself, and then I use myself as a guinea pig. Sometimes I'm a little daring. It's kind of it's kind of interesting. I record my own cassette tapes of past life regressions, and then I listen back to them and do all these, neat and cool things with past life regression and self-hypnosis. And now I'm to the point I don't even use tapes anymore. I just put myself under and go do what I have to do. But so the book is actually includes these scripts that people can either go out there and get some free recording software off the internet, like a Audacity software, or get a cheap tape recorder or digital recorder, or have a friend read the meditation scripts while they're relaxing, and they can discover their past lives, see who their soulmate is, see whether or not they're a star seed, which are people that believe that they lived on other planets before, and even, check into alternate reality lives, and just a whole bunch of different neat things that you can do with it.
Well, I love that you're doing regression on yourself, Trish. I do regression for other people, many times, and different types of self-hypnosis over the years. But I did self-hypnotize myself once in college using audio tapes, and that was before I actually, took a course in hypnosis therapy. But I never have ever tried to hypnotize myself for a past life regression. I don't know that I would even attempt that, although I've had other people, other certified hypnotherapists, regress me. And then I've, of course, kept a notebook, of what the results of that was, which it was fascinating and it was weird. One time, in fact, I actually cried in front of a room of people because I allowed someone to do that in the middle of a class, while I was studying hypnotherapy. So it's kind of embarrassing too. But
did you go back to that vibration part?
Geez.
That would have been very embarrassing for you.
How did you know? It's like you were there. No, I went back to like early 1800s Ireland.
Yeah, that brothel, right?
No, I was actually a single woman with a daughter. I was somebody who made quilts, and I could actually see like a male friend of mine who came over to visit me, but we weren't married. And they actually even took me to the end of my life, and I died in my 50s. I was young, but I was very sick, and I actually didn't want to leave that life. I was so happy. I started crying. My daughter from that life was at my side at the time. I was in my bed, and I died a peaceful death. But it was really sad, and I just started crying in front of this, room full of people. But it was weird, and it was fascinating. It really was. I would highly recommend it to anyone. But I would love to know what your technique is for regressing yourself, because I don't know how. I would love to be able to do that, and I don't know how I would ever be able to do it. Very cool.
I just pretty much do the same thing that I would do when I regress, somebody else, so it's pretty much the same technique that I use. And so, just relaxation and, deepening, and then going in. It's kind of, I know a lot of people use a lot of imagery, like they'll imagine going down some stairs or doing whatever, and I sometimes use that as well, but now that I've done it so much, I don't really need as much visualization. I just count and say, count to 1 to 3, and then I'll be back at, such and such a life or wherever, and and it seems to work for me. But with other people, I tend to really weave in, and I did it in my book as well, visualization to get people's, visualization and working.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I wish I could say I had a past life. I think I'm brand new. Yeah, I'm a new invention.
You think so?
I think so. I think I am.
It's possible. It's very possible that you are. I mean, not everybody is an old soul, and I know of a couple of past lives that I've had, but I don't think I'm such an old soul. But God, I hope this is the last one, because this one just really wore me out. I'm done. I don't want to come back. I'm done. I really don't want to come back. I've learned everything.
Me neither.
This is it. I don't. This time I don't want to come back. And I've said it many times.
I think you will. I think you're going to come back as a vibrator as opposed to a human.
Oh, he's stuck on that. You're stuck on that tonight. I'm going to get you.
That's funny. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's a good joke I can continue on with.
It is. I think I must have set myself up for this tonight. I set myself up for it. Oh, you know what? Before Trish runs out, we've got to Trish, I want you to be able to put all of your information out there. I know that your books are exclusively available on your personal website at this time. I do understand that you had a little trouble with people ripping you off on Amazon, and I've heard this from other authors recently where they're downloading it and returning it and all of that crap, where they're kind of ending up stealing your download books. And I know people that haven't had trouble, and I know people who have, so I totally understand. But please tell everyone that the names of your books and, where your website is, how they can get in touch with you, because I'm sure that they want to know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's true. I took my books down from Amazon, so they're not there anymore. But they are available on my website, and my website address is beyond, and then the number 3, and then the letter D like David, books.com. So beyond3dbooks.com. And I have blog articles on there if people want to read those, and all the information about my books and everything else.
Excellent. And do you have any other books in the making?
What are you working on?
Right now I am not writing a new book. I just finished writing the second edition to the How to Achieve Fifth Dimension Consciousness, and I just republished that, I believe it was last month. And so I haven't been working on a new book yet. I kind of want to take a little break.
Yeah.
It's hard writing sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's very time consuming, and when you write, you also have to still promote the other books that you've already written, so it's kind of like you're doing twice the work. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a breather right now.
It is. I agree. But it's definitely a labor of love, and it doesn't provide any financial issues, which is the struggle with all authors, I guess you can say. But
right.
If anyone has any questions, can email you or shoot you a message somewhere or anything like that?
Yeah, they can, and on my website there's a contact form that they can fill out, and it will go directly to my email, so they can send a personal email to me.
Nice. I'll definitely have to do that. That'll be cool. But Joe, do you have anything else you want to get out for the next?
I have lots more things. I'm sure we'll have to have Trish come back on for a numerology discussion on another show, because if we get involved with that, Joni won't have any time to talk tonight. We'll have to get Trish back on for a different topic on a different day. But it's been fun having you on. I mean, the only other thing we could maybe ask, I don't think we really covered, is how before we have to go to a commercial break, how would we go about achieving the fifth dimension consciousness? I don't think we actually talked about that. And I think that was an important point to make about your most recent, books.
You achieve it by gaining a specific amount of vibration, and then you work at it, and eventually